Yeah. Hey, what's up, horror fan, baby? Tonight we got a special one for you. It's our first serial killer live stream. We're going to be talking about Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer, also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal. And to do this, I've employed the services of our lovely Necro, because him and Dahmer have something in common. I'll leave that up for all of you to figure out what it could be. But, hey, what's up, Grassman, JB, Nate Blanche, what's going on, my friends? Y'all feel free to hit up that poll. Let us know your thoughts on whether or not you think Jeffrey Dahmer was sorry for his crimes, which is something that he did say. He said that he repented and gave his life to the Lord and all that, so be interesting to hear the thoughts on that. What's up, Jonas, Sergeant George Ishak? How y'all doing tonight, baby? What's going on, son? Y'all doing good out there or what? Okay, man, so
we'll see by the end of this.
Yeah, no shit. Mike Nation, let me tell you something. So Necro is not a serial killer kind of guy.
Yep, have never really dug into it. Yeah, Jonas, go get that drink, man.
Yeah. So James, I'm telling you, man. So I was like, dude, we should do this topic. It's going to be badass. And he's super nervous about it. He's like, oh my God, grabbing the barf bag, wondering if he should get some drink or what to be able to handle this type of stuff, dude.
Yeah, you never know. I might have to sneak off halfway through just I need something, or I'm gonna go puke in a can.
Yeah, man. You even to prepare for this, you even went and watched the Dahmer Netflix series.
Yeah, I watched the first 3 episodes and been reading up about it, and I can't believe it. It doesn't sound real.
Yeah, man. He's called me 3 times today. Dude, I can't believe this shit. Oh my God, what do you have me reading about over here? Hey, what's up, JK? Gory Tiger, what's going on, brother? Yeah, so we're going to get into it, man. So what do you think, and I want to hear the opinions in the audience tonight, man. What's everyone's thought on the new Dahmer Netflix series? I have to say that I'm surprised that Dahmer, it's been this long since he's gotten his own representation on Netflix. They've covered, the Gacy tapes was big, the Ted Bundy tapes was big, but Dahmer's kind of been left hanging, and it's really weird because he is definitely more popular than Bundy and Gacy, I would say.
Well, I'll tell you right now, from watching just the first 3 episodes, and like I said, I'll finish it up.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad from what I read, that they didn't do everything that he did, or didn't show it. Some of it was implied.
Yeah.
But other stuff, it's they just left it out. It is just oh my God.
Khalees Agosto says, it was good. I'm glad they focused on the victims and their families. Yeah, that is really cool. That is actually a video series that I was starting on the YouTube. If you search my channel, you will see where I cover Stephen Hicks, who was Dahmer's very first victim, because I wanted to bring attention to the victims, man. Everybody talks about the serial killers, but you never hear about the victims. It's these were people too. Yeah. And especially being the first one of Dahmer, man, that had, oh my God, had to be crazy. Gabriel,
yeah, and
go ahead.
And they don't cover that in the first episode. The first episode is him getting caught.
Yeah, definitely a crazy way for them to set it up too. I mean, who was expecting that? Yeah, Gabriel says there's been 6 movies, I think, of Dahmer. Not sure if any were Netflix. Yeah, man, that's the problem. There's a ton of serial killer movies out there. And the Netflix series looks to be the best in terms of quality. I mean, serial killer movies typically get pumped out, and they're treated like low-budget horror films. For God's sakes, we even got an Ed Gein movie starring Kane Hodder, the same guy who plays Jason Voorhees. Anyone who's looked up Kane Hodder and the real life Ed Gein knows, oh my god, that is a horrible portrayal. Ed Gein was just like this old average dude, looks like somebody's grandpa, and then Kane Hodder comes hulking through the door at 6'3" and as wide as a brick shithouse, man. But
yeah, no, I mean, you can tell just by like the camera angles they're using, the type of filters on certain like shots, and the moving in and out, that it's not a straight up low budget, like we're giving you one angle on this and no intensity. I mean, they've got the music down and everything. And
yeah, man, Netflix is it's really paid off for them too. It's been like the #1 trending television series on Netflix for like 3 or 4 days, man. It's wild. It's up there. I watched the first episode. I haven't gotten the chance to, take it any further yet, but the first episode was interesting. I had a couple issues with it. I thought that it was really heavy-handed. But, I mean, they have to do that to make it entertaining. I'm sure Dahmer's life, despite the fact of what the hell he was doing, probably wasn't all that entertaining, we'll say. I mean,
yeah.
But, the suspicious neighbor who clutches her pearls when he turns around and engages in conversation with her. And then, when he goes to the bar and everyone's just looking at him odd as if they suspect something. It's like, this dude's killed 17 people, man. He didn't do that by being blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we talked about this a little bit today. Was just getting to a point where, I mean, he's blending in with society. I mean, he might come across as a little weird, but nobody's thinking he's gonna kill them that day.
yeah. And these people totally act like this guy's already a murderer, man. It's like, this guy's gonna murder me. I mean, yeah. So it was definitely heavy-handed, but it's like, just like Ted Bundy, man. I know in his crimes, the dude was walking around faking like he had a cast on his arm and he needed help, and he was super charming and acted innocent. I mean, even using props to be able to lure people in, like, oh, my arm's hurting, I can't do this for myself. Can you help me? It's like, you don't view these people as psychopaths and murders right off the bat. Yeah. So it's a bit heavy-handed, but I see why they did it, man. They want it to be entertaining, and Jesus Christ, you can't judge it too much, because like I said, the other serial killer movies and stuff like that we've gotten have been shit. They've been really rough. So what we're going to do is, if providing Necro doesn't puke all over his desk or resort to alcoholism,
that might happen anyways. You never know. Yeah, I mean, it's funny reading up about this guy. I was like, well, he got to be drunk while he was killing people. Can I be drunk while I'm doing this? Because, man, otherwise I have no idea I could get through this.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's going to be a rough one, dude. For you, I've found serial killers interesting for a while, so none of this is probably going to surprise me, but, I've read the Dahmer story a lot, but, what I'm going to do to keep things moving is I'm going to check out some info on him, I'm going to read it to you folks, and we'll, comment on it, and same thing as, you folks out there, definitely keep it lively in the chat. I want to hear everyone's opinions. Speaking of...
I'm gonna be relying on you guys to clue me into some of this stuff here, because this is like my first experience with this.
Oh man, yeah, it's gonna get good. It's gonna get gritty good. And I did want to say we do have new merch out there, courtesy of Horror Fan member JP. I have pinned it at the top of the chat if anybody wants to check it out. Brand new Talk Horror merch. Grab it while supplies last. And before inflation takes over. I've already had Spring contact me and be like, you need to raise these damn prices, Steve. I mean, seriously, they have. And they told me that they're going to force me to raise them if they're below a certain threshold anyway. So I think I have until the end of the month for that. So if anybody wants to talk horror merch, now is the time. So let's see here. Vanderhoff says he's watched the first episode. He's going to watch the rest. Nate Blanche, happy early birthday. Pinhead 198 says Evan did a great job. But I'm sorry, this series feels like everything else Netflix has done recently. Very poor quality. Evan Peters has done a good job. He's a pretty damn good actor, man.
Yeah.
Corey Charles says, fun fact, Jeffrey Dahmer is a descendant of Thomas Flint, who was involved in the Salem witch trials.
Wow.
Okay. JK believes that Jeffrey Dahmer's mother abandoning him before he killed Stephen Hicks was the last straw.
Wow.
So Gabriel says, I was never interested in Dahmer until I learned about The Neighbors. This show was sold to be about that, and while it was, I was disappointed in stuff they could have easily included. Yeah, from what I remember, The Neighbors, they, kind of want to focus on the neighbors and show the neighbors, like I said, the woman clutching her pearls and being inquisitive and all this, but it's like, I've seen interviews that was, conducted by news stations back then. And it seems like all the neighbors and the people who knew Dahmer were actually like, we could never imagine him doing this. This is insane. Dahmer is such a great, quiet person,
Now, that's not how it comes across in the first couple episodes at all. I mean, like I said, I've only watched the first 3. I'll finish it off before the weekend, but yeah, this seems more set up that the neighbors knew something was wrong, were trying to tell people that things were wrong, and that the police were not doing what they should have been doing in multiple occasions.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like, it was a couple of cops one time, it was multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely weird how they set that up. Now, I mean, I'm not saying that the cops weren't ignorant, and maybe even careless at points. But shit, man, Dahmer was slick. That's what these people, these serial killers, and they devote their lives to that. It's like they almost become the ultimate human being to fool the rest of us. Almost like a caricature, but so
watch out for the quiet ones. Grassman. I'm watching the chat too. Grassman was like, watch out for the quiet ones. He was such a quiet man, so well reserved.
Yeah, so is Grassman, so that's why we got to watch out for his ass, man.
See, that's why I try and fool everybody and just be super flamboyant and outgoing.
Yeah. All right, I'm about to get into this. Oh, go ahead.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get into this story. And for those of you that haven't hit that like button, man, let's make that happen. We haven't even broke 10 likes yet on this stream. What? We've had like 30 people in here. All right, here we go. So Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer, born 1960, died in 1994, is also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal or the Milwaukee Monster, was an American serial killer and sex offender who committed the murder and dismemberment of 17 men and boys between 1978 and 1991. Many of his later murders involved necrophilia, cannibalism, and the permanent preservation of body parts, typically all or part of the skeleton. Well, that's the answer right there, man. 1978, dude, was inspired by John Carpenter's Halloween. That's... yeah, we have our answer, man. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is too. We went through this before the stream about necrophilia. According to the classes, he would be a class 9 necrophilia, a homicidal necrophiliac.
What the hell is number 10 then, dude? Jeez.
Exclusive so a homicidal necrophiliac is someone in order to have sex with them. Class 10 is exclusive necrophiliacs that only have sex with the dead. Where I think he was a 75. No, he was a 25-75. He said in his court case that 75% of the time he wanted them alive, 25% of the time dead. Whereas, when and if my wife passes, maybe I'd be a class 2 necrophiliac, which is a romantic necrophiliac, which is a bereaved person who remains attached to their dead lover's body.
Hey, nothing necromantic, a little bit of necromantic there. Nothing wrong with that, baby.
I had to look it up today. You know, it's like it's something for you guys.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy when there's classifications and rating systems for necrophilia. That's it's like, well, this is a class 9 necrophiliac here. Like, well, what the fuck is?
Dude, I would have so rethought my gamer tag like if I had looked into it big time. I mean, I was just like, oh, what a dumb idea.
Well, it's like, what the fuck are they going to do, man? They have like a Guinness World Records listing for necrophiliacs. It's like,
no, they got class 1 through 10 or category A through H, man. I was just like,
so
cool.
Okay, so in terms of necrophilia, Jeffrey Dahmer was like a bronze medalist of necrophilia here.
Yeah, he was a category A, cold or destructive necrophiliac.
Okay, so
but he didn't go into the class 10 because he wasn't exclusively into the dead.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so okay. Oh my God, there's some real necrophilia snobs out there, man.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's weird too. Like in trying to read up on this, to try and like be prepared for this and learn about this. Necrophiliacs it's actually rare among serial killers. I mean, it's not the
Yeah, so I feel really bad. Everything horror collector just got in here and he's all excited, like, hello, horror fam. Oh my God, and Dragon Blues did too. And it's like, I have a feeling that smile and enthusiasm just went down a couple notches. They're like, wait a minute, necrophilia, what are they talking about?
Hey, what's that?
Well, you know, and they just missed our super scientific explanation of the different classes.
Yeah, I could put my glasses on and read it for everybody. Maybe later.
Yeah, and hey, what's up, Daughter of Death? Glad to see you in here tonight, baby. Loving it. So, okay. Although he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, schizotypal personality disorder, and a psychotic disorder, Dahmer was found to be legally sane at his trial. He was convicted of 15 of the 16 murders he had committed in Wisconsin and was sentenced to 15 terms of life imprisonment on February 17, 1992. Dahmer was later sentenced to a 16th term of life imprisonment for an additional homicide committed in Ohio in 1978. On November 28, 1994, that is when Dahmer was beaten to death by a fellow inmate, Christopher Scarver, at the Portage, Wisconsin prison. So, man, that's a question we'll go ahead and tackle right now before we get into his, his early childhood and stuff like that. And I want to hear the horror fam in the chat right now. I want to hear your thoughts on this too. Do you think he was fit for trial?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I mean, I read up on the case study for it as to why they thought he was considered sane and he couldn't do he couldn't do the insanity plea was several different reasons. Was one, he knew what he was doing was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Two is that and other people who've researched this, please tell me more that you've read about it is he knew what he was doing was wrong. Mm-hmm. Two, he would get drunk to do it, like to basically loosen his inhibitions to do it. Mm-hmm. And three is that he planned it. He had a process and a method to get these individuals alone. And
so it was like premeditated stuff.
Correct. That he basically planned out how he was going to do it. Now, what he would claim is that sometimes he would get them back to these rooms or like his apartment, and that he wasn't planning on killing them, but ipso facto, then they were going to die.
Yeah, I mean, and I see some comments over here, and I put up a poll. Was Dahmer fit for trial mentally? I would love for everybody to participate in that poll. Right now it is at a 100% yes. And I see Leanne Risher in here. Hello, welcome to the stream, my friend. And she's waving at you, Necro.
Well, I did respond to her. She was like, I don't know if I should be in here right now, and I told her
poor Leanne. Yeah, she says he was fit for an extermination without trial.
Yeah.
Well, and, thank you for subscribing. Great old one. Glad to have you as part of the horror fam, my friend. Appreciate it. JK said, yes, he was fit for trial. He knew the difference between right and wrong. Kellis Agosto totally agrees and says that you can have a mental illness and still be fit for trial. Gabriel says totally fit for trial. Listening to the interviews, he was sane. He knew it was wrong. He covered it up. Being mentally ill isn't the same. Anyone that kills people are crazy. Everything Horror Collector says, yes, absolutely. He was perfectly stable enough for court. Much love, Leanne. Gabriel, the only serial killer I've ever seen questionable for sanity is Richard Ramirez, but he still deserved life. Yes, Grassman, hit that like button, baby. We're about to hit 20 likes on the stream. I want to see it, my friends. So, yeah, man, I mean, that is, he's screwed in that sense because that is totally premeditated stuff. I've known people that have committed crimes. And sadly, in the situation, it seems like, man, that would be justifiable. But if you do anything where it happens after the fact, let's say after you were assaulted, you go and grab a gun 5 minutes later and pursue, your attacker, you're done for, dude. Your attacker can get in trouble, but your ass just, committed a premeditated crime. So, so, I mean, I can definitely see where the court was coming from on that. So, if you folks are ready, we're going to get into Dahmer's childhood and see if maybe we can find some clues here as to where things went wrong, and they seem to be pretty abundant if you're familiar with Jeffrey Dahmer's childhood in any way.
Yeah, just wait for this, man. It gets worse.
Yeah, so here's where Necro, this is where the old barf bag gets its first round of employment.
Help this poor boy. It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah. So Dahmer, who was born on May 21st, 1960, I know somebody else with that birth date, the first of two sons of Joyce Annette, a teletype machine instructor, and Lionel Herbert Dahmer, a Marquette University chemistry student and later a research chemist. Some sources report Dahmer was deprived of attention as an infant. Other sources, however, suggest that Dahmer was generally doted on as an infant and toddler by both parents. If people are wondering what doted means, that basically means like discarded. They didn't really pay attention to him. Although his mother was known to be tense, greedy for both attention and pity, and argumentative with her husband and their neighbors. So his mom was pretty mentally unstable, it sounds like.
Keep getting into it too with like her. I mean, they mentioned in regards to even it comes up in the show is just the type of medications she was given to relax and how tense and depressed she was. And it's like I think we'd have to look up specific details on all the different things that she would doing, but it seemed like she, even while pregnant with him, had a lot of different substance problems.
Oh, so Dragon Blue says I got the definition of doted wrong. She says doted on means they spoiled him in a good way, love and attention and stuff. I thought that meant that they pretty much ignored him. My bad. My bad. Jeez. But hey, that's what you kind horror fan members are for. Y'all are too damn smart, making me look bad in my own stream. Now I'm going to have to eat James after this.
Gabriel brought this up as we knew nothing about postpartum back then, too. It's like you don't know, like, from what she suffered through from postpartum depression is what kind of medication she was put on and given to make it even worse.
Oh, yeah, because Dahmer was her first child. Yeah. So, who knows, man? Who knows how that could change someone? As Dahmer entered first grade, Lionel's university studies kept him away from home much of the time. When he was home, his wife, a hypochondriac who had depression, demanded constant attention, and spent an increasing amount of time in bed. On one occasion, she is known to have attempted suicide with Equanil, which, if I'm not mistaken, was like a tranquilizer back in the day, and it's, not really in use anymore, I don't think. It's been replaced with like benzos or something. But consequently, neither parent devoted much time to their son, who later recollected that from an early age he felt, quote, unsure of the solidity of the family, end quote, recalling extreme tension and numerous arguments between his parents during his early years. Dahmer had been an energetic and happy child, but became notably subdued after double hernia surgery shortly before his 4th birthday. At elementary school, Dahmer was regarded as quiet and timid. One teacher later recollected she detected early signs of abandonment in Dahmer due to his father's absence and mother's illness, the symptoms of which increased when she became pregnant with her 2nd child. Nonetheless, in elementary school, Dahmer did have a small number of friends. So it sounds like this dude was pretty much on his own.
Yeah, well, it was funny. It's Dragon Blues just put out there. He had a pretty average childhood. It almost sounds like he had an average childhood for a 90s kid, where, they were kind of left on their own to deal with stuff. They mentioned that on the TV show is that, the dad says something in the show is like, oh, I don't know if the anesthesia had anything to do with him becoming different after that hernia surgery. I mean... there's just documentation wise, you have no idea. And, we talked about it is that, with all these different things that they try and outline as to possible contributors to how he decided to behave, is this something where this is how serial killers are made? Is this how you build a serial killer?
Yeah. Love me puppy, thank you for subscribing to the Big TH. Welcome to the horror fam, my friend. Well, man, and I know that childhood surgeries can be traumatic to kids. Like children who've never had anything such as night terrors or stuff like that, after having surgery, all of a sudden they have PTSD and night terrors, and so there's levels as well to be discussed about that hernia operation. I mean,
he mentions maybe it was the anesthesia given to him. It's I don't know. It's one of the reasons why I avoided this topic growing up was because of my dad was a doctor, and him mentioning discussing abnormal psychology, and sometimes getting to a point where they have no explanation as to why they end up the way that they do, is that they can't, that they feel like there's certain contributing factors, but Leanne mentions this, a bad mother doesn't turn out a Dahmer. That's not what actually because otherwise there's bad dads, there's bad moms. That doesn't mean that the children are going to definitely be bad kids, because that's not true. But it's one of those things where that's from a physician's side, that there's sometimes where there's some contributing factors, but that's not what ends up honestly doing that. Is sometimes they think it's some miswiring in the brain, like it's a machine that everything doesn't line up right. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, and Gabriel says right here, back then issues weren't talked about. Divorce was more looked down on. Women didn't work as much. People didn't talk about their struggles as much. I can see that, things weren't as out in the open as they are today. I mean, people weren't making Facebook posts like, oh shit, I want to die today. And, and two, people weren't getting as much help as they should have for their depression, anxiety, and all that. So
it was kind of it's probably still during that time of I just deal with it, because it's that was kind of just passed along, just endure it. And we endured it. And come on.
Yeah.
This is how it's always been.
Yeah.
What?
And, Leanne Risher says, a bad mother doesn't turn out a Dahmer. I believe some people look like people, but actually they just aren't.
Yeah.
So, and, Grassman's over there throwing beer around and everything in the chat. I love it, Grassman. Keep it up, baby. Hell yeah.
The question is, like, probably halfway through, like, when we're already halfway, 30 minutes in, but maybe 40, in another 15, 20 minutes, is do a vote. Can Necro get up and get a drink after this? Because we're gonna start getting into some really gross stuff.
Oh my God, yeah. And speaking of drinks, man, I threw up a tip jar up there. That's what that is beside of the TalkHorror logo for another part of interactivity on the stream. From now on, when we get donations and stuff like that, man, cash gets tossed into the old tip jar. I'm like a freaking Starbucks here, dude. I'm not playing around.
It's for Necro's alcohol abuse.
Yeah, so who's going to be the first person to check that out, man? Let us see what that animation looks like. So
yeah, whatever you do, don't make it like let's make Necro do shots the whole time. That would be terrible. I got some wife and kids out there that'd be like, "What happened to Dad?"
Come stumbling down the steps like Randy Marsh.
Yeah, he lost a bet.
Yeah, no shit, man. Oh man. So Leanne Risher wants to know if you have a channel, Necro. No, he is a contributor to the Big TH though.
And I try and suck in as much as I can.
Yeah. Khalees says, I think it's a combination of genetic and environmental factors. The whole nature versus nurture debate. Dragon Blue says, oh yeah, they've done studies that show there's an actual physical difference in the brain of a psychopath. Well, there you go. I mean, yeah, that's truth.
Yeah.
Oh, Jonah says you got to do shots of Jameson per $10 tip.
Sure, I do that for free. I'm kidding.
Make it happen, Jonas.
Well, yeah, I do love my Jameson. Somebody must have told him something.
Yeah, make it happen, baby. All right, so yeah, man, I see what you guys are saying. Like, he had a pretty average childhood, it looks like. A new kid comes along, he gets ignored. Stuff like that. The hernia surgery is definitely out there as far as typical childhoods go, though. But hey.
Yeah. Other kids have surgeries. And during that time they had,
Yeah.
anesthesia. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, in October of '66, the family moved to Doylestown, Ohio. When Joyce gave birth in December, Jeffrey was allowed to choose the name of his new baby brother. He chose the name David. That same year, Lionel earned his degree and started work as an analytical chemist in nearby Akron, Ohio. From an early age, Dahmer manifested an interest in dead animals. His fascination with dead animals may have begun when, at the age of 4, he saw his father removing animal bones from beneath the family home. According to Lionel, Dahmer was oddly thrilled by the sound the bones made and became preoccupied with animal bones, which he initially called his fiddlesticks. He occasionally searched beneath and around the family home for additional bones and explored the bodies of live animals to discover where their bones were located. And I do remember hearing that. Go ahead. That
does show up. In fact, one of the people in the chat a little bit ago had mentioned that a big difference between real life and Netflix is, and this is really odd. Netflix makes it like a Jeffrey dad like activity or hobby to look at dead bodies, and someone in the chat's like, the dad was like, "No, I didn't do that." Yeah. I did not hang out with him and go looking for dead bodies and stuff and do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing in one of the Dahmer documentaries where his dad is talking about it, like, apparently Jeffrey became obsessed with the sound. Like, he was just absolutely fascinated with the sound the animal bones would make as they were tossed into the bucket. He called that his fiddlesticks. It sounded like fiddlesticks, and he just loved it. So, yes, there is his, that is a warning sign we've seen a lot. Just a preoccupation with dead animals, a fascination, and, then, of course, killing animals is, kind of the next step there.
And I didn't see any research in saying that he eats any of the dead animals raw or anything like that. I just saw the fascination and learning about having to bleach the bone, and stuff like that. That was like kind of the big thing.
Yeah. So in 1968, the family moved to Bath Township, Summit County, Ohio. This address was their third in 2 years. And the Dahmers' sixth address since marriage. The home stood in 1.5 acres of woodland, with a small hut being only a short walk from the house, where Dahmer began collecting large insects, such as dragonflies and moths, and the skeletons of small animals, such as chipmunks and squirrels. Some of these remains were preserved in jars of formaldehyde and stowed within the hut. So dude was putting dead animals in jars and collecting them.
Yeah.
2 years later, during a chicken dinner, Dahmer asked Lionel what would happen if the chicken bones were placed in bleach. Lionel, pleased by what he believed to be his son's scientific curiosity, demonstrated how to safely bleach and preserve animal bones. Dahmer incorporated these preserving techniques into his bone collecting and also began collecting dead animals, including roadkill, which he would dissect and bury beside the hut, with the skulls occasionally placed atop makeshift crosses. According to one friend, and here's where it gets good, folks. You guys might want to get that barf bag ready.
I get my birth bag.
Yeah, go ahead and get it, James. Dahmer explained to his friend that he was curious as to how animals fitted together. In one instance in 1975, Dahmer decapitated the carcass of a dog before nailing the body to a tree and impaling the skull upon a stick in the woodland behind his house. As a prank, he later invited a friend to view the display, claiming he had discovered the remains by chance. The same year, Lionel taught his son how to preserve animal bones. Joyce began increasing her daily consumption of Equanil, laxatives, and sleeping pills, further minimizing her tangible contact with her husband and children. Jeez, man. Jeez.
Basically reading this made me look at, like, I have three boys, so I was like, I'm gonna go pay attention to what they're doing. Hey, kids, you ever go out in the backyard and kill an animal and see how its bones fit together? No, you don't do that? Okay, good.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm being a good parent right now. Yeah. Finding out, hey, boys, have you ever heard of necrophilia? No, Dad, we have. What's that? Never mind.
Yeah. That's good parenting right there.
Yeah.
JK wants to know if Dahmer inspired Rob Zombie's version of Michael Myers. That's something I've said since the very first time I watched that movie. It was like Rob Zombie had read a book on, like, Serial Killers 101 and just incorporated that shit. It's like, I'm amazed Michael Myers didn't also piss the bed and play with fire too. Just go the full nine with it.
Yeah, when I read through this and was watching the show, I totally thought that, I was like, wait a minute, this is Rob Zombie. This is the Halloween he did. I'm like, totally.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and Gabriel here says, in the Netflix show, which I've only seen one episode of thus far, I know you've seen 3, but he says that they make hunting and dissecting roadkill a father-son outing, but according to Dahmer and his dad, this didn't happen. Dahmer kept that a secret.
Yeah, see, I mean, to me, what I didn't understand in watching the show is, when a father and son do an activity together, they're into it together. They're, unless the son's not interested, but they both in the show seem very interested in what's going on. And you would think that the dad would be very attentive this seems more like, in real life, this is something Dahmer was doing on his own. And, like one of the, people was saying, it's just like, this is his secret. This is him doing this on his own and nobody's catching it. I don't know. I mean, maybe Dahmer's the source of helicopter parents. After reading this, it's like, oh, if I don't pay attention to my kid, he'll turn into Dahmer. What are you doing right now? Are you dissecting an animal? Are you like putting bones together? Or no, Dad, I'm good.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah, I'm just looking at porn, Dad. Awesome. Keep going.
Hell yeah. Totally good.
Wait, what? And then pausing. Wait a minute. What kind of porn?
Yeah. No doubt, man. But then but then you're screwed, because that's one thing Bundy blamed his, killing spree on. He's like, man, it was hardcore pornography. I was just obsessed.
Well, that's what I said. It's like, what are you talking about? What are we talking about?
Yeah, this better be some vanilla shit. You better be watching some Skinamax, man.
Yeah, some Hallmark movies. I mean, come on.
Oh man, yes. Welcome to the Horror Fam Creative Branding, dude. Glad to have you here as one of us.
Wait a minute. Leanne just said, "Be right back." Does that mean she's going to go get a drink? Can I go get a drink?
You can go get a drink. You can go get a drink. I mean, I don't know. I'm not seeing anybody throwing some money in that tip jar. What's up with that, man?
That's true. No drinking for Necro tonight.
Yeah, I guess the Horror Fam just isn't they want to torture you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Gabriel says he only cared about the roadkill part because he's seen hate for Dahmer's dad, and his dad is still alive. Maybe he's not, maybe I'm naive, but his interviews, he seems sincerely upset over what his son did. So, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot there. It's hard to tell. I've seen hate for his dad. I've seen hate for Dahmer's mom, and it's, but from what it looks like here, his mom was slipping herself into a self-induced coma, taking Equanil, laxatives, and sleeping pills. This woman just, she needed to be on an episode of Intervention, man. So now when we get into high school, from his freshman year at Revere High School, Dahmer was seen as an outcast. By the age of 14, I mean, go figure that shit. By the age of 14, he had begun drinking beer and hard alcohol in daylight hours, frequently concealing his liquor inside the jacket he wore to school. He is known to have mentioned to one classmate who inquired why he was drinking scotch in a morning history class that the alcohol he consumed was, quote, my medicine. Gee,
medicine.
Yeah, we've never heard that before. Although largely uncommunicative, in his freshman year, Dahmer was seen by staff as polite and highly intelligent, but with average grades. He was a keen tennis player and played briefly in the high school band. Jesus Christ, man. So he's all over the place. He's drinking at school. He's in band. He has no friends because, I mean, go figure that. Well, I mean, it says he has, a small group of friends or whatever, but...
Yeah.
I mean, your hobbies are decapitating animals and crucifying them to trees. I mean, how the hell can you connect with others doing that?
Well, it's like, the other thing is, too, it's like, where was he getting the booze? Somebody had to have been buying it to him for that time, unless, he looked more mature for his age and getting it. But, I mean, or his mom or dad buying it. Or
stealing it, sneaking it, something. Yeah. I mean, he, was apparently highly intelligent, so... Hey, Jonas donated $10, man. Oh, look at that. Oh, there's ice in the cup.
Shots.
Shots.
Ice in the cup, yeah. Shots. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Look at that, man.
I guarantee you after this, it's happening unless, Steven gets pleased with the amount of tips that go into the jar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jonas is saying... Jonas. Yeah, Jonas is saying, get that drink, Necro. You got money in the jar, dude.
All right, well, you want me to go run and go back?
Run and go back, man. I'll keep reading, right, dude. Okay?
All right, you keep reading. Get your Wilford Brimley on.
Yeah. So, when Dahmer reached puberty, he discovered that he was gay. He did not tell his parents. In his early teens, he had a brief relationship with another teenage boy, although they never had intercourse. By Dahmer's later admission, he began fantasizing about dominating and controlling a completely submissive male partner. In his early to mid-teens is when those fantasies began, and his masturbatory fantasies gradually evolved to his focusing upon the chest and torsos of the focus of his fantasies. Sorry, folks, they need an editor. These fantasies gradually became intertwined with dissection. When he was about 16, Dahmer conceived a fantasy of rendering unconscious a particular male jogger he found attractive, and then making sexual use of his body. On one occasion, Dahmer concealed himself in bushes with a baseball bat to lie in wait for this man. However, he did not pass by on that particular day. Dahmer later admitted this was his first attempt to attack and render an individual submissive to him. Oh my God, welcome back, Necro. We just read about how Dahmer, he's got that drink because Jonas...
Cheers, Jonas.
Sending us the old $10, supporting the stream, becoming the stream boss, and getting us closer to our $100 goal of supporting the channel. It's an easy goal. Felt like we could hit that one. Oh man!
And this is a pre-made bullet, old fashioned, which I usually mull with something else and some orange or something. But I ran and came back. Cheers, Jonas. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, baby. Hitting it up with that drink. So, yeah, I mean, we just read about Dahmer wanting, he became fascinated with this male jogger. He wanted to hide in the bushes and attack this dude with a baseball bat. And, Dragon Blue says it right here. So even as an adolescent, he was not interested in consensual and mutual sexuality.
Yeah, it's really odd too. I don't know if we have any people in the gay chat or anything like that, but I mean, how can?
dude.
How can you be considered gay or hetero if you want to have sex with a non compliant person? I mean, him being attracted to males. It's like, dude, are you really attracted to males, or are you just attracted to a dead male body? I mean, it's almost like, I don't know.
I'm not laughing at that, man. Grassman Nightmare said he was a bushwhacker, and that shit totally threw.
Yeah, sorry about that, JK. I'm assuming there's some gay chat going on. We can get... I can swing a lot of ways.
Yeah, Leanne wants to know, dude, next week can you put the drinks in the Dollar Tree syringes?
Nice.
That would be so badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's really weird though, because some of the show almost comes across as that they try and blame how he is on the fact he was gay. And even his dad's trying to talk to him about being gay or not being gay, about being into women, but it was at this time period where you didn't talk about it at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just I don't know. It came across as really weird. It's it's like, do you think he was a killer because he was gay? It's like he couldn't find. He could find willing gay partners. It wasn't that.
Yeah, because they said that he formed a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, it was I don't know. They almost seemed it felt like to me in the show that they were making a point that it was that he was gay, but he was told it was okay to be gay. I don't know. I mean, but he found places in the community, and I read on about it. It was he found communities to hang out where he could be gay, and they kicked him out because they knew he was up to no good, drugging people.
Oh shit. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, dude, there was just something off, and it's really obvious looking over his childhood, and he like that. I mean, hell, he had a relationship with another classmate, and then immediately just moved on to wanting to control people.
Yeah, I just read Gabriel's quote. I mean, it's like, I think it's more of the holding it in that he was gay, but so many gay people went through that and didn't kill anyone. It's like that's my point. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, perfect storm, like he says, a perfect storm maybe. I don't know.
Well, here we go, man. So among his peers at RHS, Revere High School, Dahmer became something of a class clown who often staged pranks, which became known as, quote, doing a Dahmer. These included bleating and simulating epileptic seizures or cerebral palsy at school and local stores. On occasion, Dahmer would perform these antics for money to purchase alcohol. So, how the fuck was he buying alcohol? 14 years old, dude.
Well, I mean, it's like one of the comments that just came in that JK put in here is, as I recall, he was when he first turned up to the gay bars, he was desired by many of the other guys. I mean, this guy, like I said, maybe he was so charming that he could buy booze, he could get into places. Nobody thought of anything of it at all.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. There's just something wrong there, and it's obvious. Yeah, Brandon Smalley, welcome to the stream, man. Hit that subscribe button, baby. That like button. So by 1977, Dahmer's grades had declined. His parents hired a private tutor with limited success. The same year, in an attempt to save their marriage, his parents attended counseling sessions. They continued to quarrel frequently. When Lionel discovered Joyce had engaged in a brief affair in September 1977, they both decided to divorce, telling their sons they wished to do so amicably. Lionel moved out of the house in early 1978, temporarily residing in a motel on North Cleveland Massillon Road. So, dude, his dad wasn't there. His dad was busy getting a degree, trying to build a career, stuff like this. So he wasn't getting much attention from his dad. His mom was self-medicating, taking laxatives and like antidepressants.
She was always on the toilet. She was
always on the toilet. When she wasn't sleeping, she was shitting. Apparently.
I was going to say the next tip has to go to Stephen getting his drink on.
Oh my god!
After I just announced that we had a gay chat going on too. After like one sip of booze, I'm already losing it.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's really crazy. This whole story is nuts. I mean,
yeah.
And then not only that. I mean, look at the dysfunction that, he's facing. Then they have their new kid, and of course you're going to lose some attention there, but his mom is cheating on his father. I mean, man, that house is just unstable as hell. So, in May of 78, Dahmer graduated from high school. A few weeks before his graduation, one of his teachers observed Dahmer sitting close to the school parking lot, drinking several cans of beer. When the teacher threatened to report the matter, Dahmer informed him he was experiencing a lot of problems at home and that the school's guidance counselor was aware of them. That spring, Joyce and David moved out of the family home to live with relatives in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Good old Chippewa Falls. Dahmer had just turned 18 and remained in the family home. Dahmer's parents' divorce was finalized on July 24th, 1978. Joyce was awarded custody of her younger son and alimony payments.
All right, who in the chat had said that earlier? I don't know if them moving out was the trigger.
I did see somebody say that. Yeah.
That was boom, because it says 3 weeks after his graduation. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, right here, Dragon Blues brings up a good point here. Threatened to report the matter? Threatened? I've never had a teacher threaten to do anything. They just do it. Yeah, man. I mean, it sounds like there was a lot of I don't know, man. A lot of leniency going on here. Just everybody saw the warning signs, and it's like nobody wanted to act on them.
Yeah, yeah. Sadly, even in more recent, stuff that we have going on with school shootings, it's like where that you find that trigger of like somebody had an opportunity, they saw a warning sign and did nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, Grassman brings up a scary thought. He says, his mother knew that he wasn't right in the head and took off, leaving him behind before he could kill and play or eat his brother. Oh my God.
Oh, see, that'd be an interesting question to find out. It's like, was there a possibility of that happening? And was just like, oh my God, I got to get him away.
Yeah, man. I mean, right here, right after graduation, here we go. Dahmer committed his first murder in 1978, 3 weeks after his graduation. 3 weeks. On June 18th, Dahmer picked up a hitchhiker named Stephen Hicks, who was almost 19. Dahmer lured the youth to his house on the pretext of drinking. Hicks, who had been hitchhiking to a rock concert at Chippewa Lake Park, Ohio, agreed to accompany Dahmer to his house upon the promise of a few beers with Dahmer, as he had the house to himself. According to Dahmer, the sight of the bare-chested Hicks standing at the roadside stirred his sexual feelings, although when Hicks began talking about girls, he knew any sexual passes he made would be rebuffed. After several hours of talking, drinking, and listening to music, Hicks wanted to leave, and I didn't want him to. Dahmer bludgeoned Hicks with a 10-pound dumbbell. He later stated he struck Hicks twice from behind with the dumbbell as Hicks sat upon a chair. When Hicks fell unconscious, Dahmer strangled him to death with the bar of the dumbbell, then stripped the clothes from Hicks's body before exploring his chest with his hands, then masturbating as he stood above the corpse.
Yeah, see, I mean, when I was watching the Netflix show, I'm trying to remember, how much of this I had read before watching the show. I think I had read quite a bit, and was just dreading watching the show. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to watch the show. I don't want to read this. What am I doing? And, just one of my friends had watched the whole show, and I was like, does this happen in the show? Otherwise, I'm out. And it wasn't this part. There's some part with skulls and stuff that come up later. I'm like, if this happens, I'm totally out. I'm not doing this. I'm walking out of the podcast. This ain't happening.
Yeah.
Luckily it doesn't. I mean, because it gets to a point where it's like, this is on Netflix. It's like, my kids log on to my account. Are they going to watch this?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And, says here, the following day, Dahmer dissected Hicks's body in his basement. He later buried the remains in a shallow grave in his backyard. Several weeks later, he unearthed the remains and pared the flesh from the bones. He dissolved the flesh in acid before flushing the solution down the toilet. He crushed the bones with a sledgehammer and scattered them in the woods behind the family home.
See, that's what I want to know from the people in the chat, if they've researched this at all. There's a scene in the show where he has body parts in the back, and the cops pull him over again. It's like, this is another scene where it's like, shoot, actually look at what's in the back of his car. Because in these notes it doesn't come up, and it's like, it felt like it was part of the scenes of the show of trying to set up, well, the cops aren't doing enough. It's all the cops' fault. The neighbors are telling them the parents sucked, or the parents were distant and not asking the right questions. The school's not doing it, but I don't know if anybody else knows if that was true or not.
Yeah, man, it's like there's just so much about Dahmer. It's like, just...
Well, it's interesting because he volunteered this. I mean, I bet most of the information, because if you read about his actual victims and what happens to their bodies, I mean, I mean, there's 60 hours of interrogation of him, of interviews where he tells them what he did.
Yeah.
And this has all got to come directly from him. I mean, there's so many details. It's like, who else would know? I mean, CSI isn't this smart.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. And, there were close calls with him, too. I mean, about the bodies, he's driving around with, or the remains. One of his victims escaped, and the cops just returned him to the care of Dahmer. It's...
Yeah, you're gonna see that episode, man. That's some crazy stuff.
Yeah, that shit's nuts, and it actually happened. He's like, Dahmer just told him, like, yeah, man, my friend is, under the influence, and we were participating in homosexual shit, and cops handed him back. It's like, God, man.
In the show, it almost made it look with him.
Oh, what is it? You broke out.
Oh, I was going to say, it almost seemed like that they just escorted him to the room.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
So we'll just, there's the first murder. After that, it's pretty, he falls into a routine of luring people back to, his place, getting them high, and just, there's crazy stuff. I know one of his fantasies was that he wanted to drill holes into his victims' skulls, fill it with Coca-Cola, if I remember correctly, and like a mixture of other stuff maybe. And
it says like acid and other weird stuff. Like he was trying to create like zombies.
Yeah. He wanted them to be his sex zombies.
Yeah.
Where he could control them. Back to that fantasy of where he doesn't want consensual intercourse. Jonas, that's a good question. So the guy ran to the police for help, and he's drugged up. Dahmer's drugged him, and he's naked, right?
So this kid is this victim in particular was 14. Mm-hmm. The one that escapes is the one that runs away with the handcuffs, and he's like, in fact, somebody had mentioned too was that he's told to go back first to go get unhooked. The 14-year-old is one who had his brain drilled upon to become a zombie.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, and they found him, and then as Dahmer's coming back, like trying to go back to his apartment, he's like, "Oh no, this is my boyfriend, and we're together," and that he made up a name. It wasn't the same guy's name. And said he's 19, he's my boyfriend. He takes the cops back to his apartment with this 14-year-old claiming he's 19. Shows the cops a couple pictures. And what's gross about this is, too, he has a dead body in his bedroom. One of the cops smells something. The other one claims they didn't smell anything.
Yeah.
And they look at the pictures and they go, "Oh, well, you're gay," and stuff. And, "Oh, well, fine, go back to your gay stuff." And that was it. And then they basically leave him there, and the kid ends up, Dahmer finishes him off.
Yeah, it's fucking wild, man. What a crazy story.
It's, I'm not a police officer. I can't even talk to that, but there are these cops. In one of the episodes, they actually play the actual call of a neighbor saying what happened, and the cop is basically saying, "Oh, everything's fine." That's I'm summarizing, but that was basically it. And it's that boundary that people. It's like, what do you want your police officers to do? Do you want them to cross the line? Where's the line? Because some people would say, well, people are doing their own thing, leave them alone. It's like, where's that line? What's the line where you cross it, where either you want the cops to be very intrusive and document things? they ask him, well, where's his ID? Dahmer lies and says, well, he's lost his ID. I mean, to me, any logical, intelligent human being who, like, you have one person saying this guy's a 14-year-old, and then the only other witness is telling you, well, he lost his ID. That to me is like super red flag.
Shit.
You have to like dig into this immediately, not just go, well, I've got pictures. A cop is just going to go look and find some Polaroids that you took of like abusing this 14-year-old kid and go, yeah, cool. You guys are gay. What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And yet that's essentially, it seems like that's what these guys actually.
Yeah, man, I can't. That shit's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, I mean, that's the gist of Dahmer. I mean, those are the things that really stick out about him is, the drilling in the heads, the wanting to create sex zombies. There's a shit ton of information out there you people can check out on him, but I mean, that's by far some of the most interesting. We'll get into his capture a little bit here. And, then eventually his death. But, on July 22nd, 1991, Dahmer approached 3 men with an offer of $100 to accompany him to his apartment to pose for nude photographs, drink beer, and simply keep him company. One of the trio, 32-year-old Tracy Edwards, agreed to accompany him to his apartment. Upon entering Dahmer's apartment, Edwards noted a foul odor and several boxes of hydrochloric acid on the floor, which Dahmer claimed to use for cleaning bricks. After some minor conversation, Edwards responded to Dahmer's request to turn his head and view his tropical fish, whereupon Dahmer placed a handcuff upon his wrist. When Edwards asked what's happening, Dahmer unsuccessfully attempted to cuff his wrists together, then told Edwards to accompany him to the bedroom to pose for nude pictures. While inside the bedroom, Edwards noted nude male posters on the wall and that a videotape of The Exorcist 3 was playing. He also noted a blue 57-gallon drum in the corner from which a strong odor emanated. Oh my God.
Yeah. When I saw that drum, I had originally thought about bringing out my, I don't know, for people who have seen the stream before, is having this gigantic like mug of a blue drink. It's like, yeah, that was in his 50s. I was going to drink that tonight. I'm like, nah.
Oh my God.
It's a school night, come on.
Yeah, talk about your red flags, man. Putting a fucking handcuff on your wrist and then just being like, well, I mean, come to the bedroom with me, though. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the Netflix show played it off like really well. Like this guy knew something was up right away, tried to get away several times. And what's interesting about it is reading up more about this guy who tried the last almost victim. He was there for 5 hours.
God,
could you imagine being trapped in a room with a guy who you think is going to kill you? I mean, because it seems like, reading the notes on some of this, he knew something is wrong with this guy. I've got to leave, and trying to leave several times, and it taking 5 hours to leave.
Oh my God.
That would be that in itself. I mean, they did this in like a 20 or 30 minute segment of the movie or the show, and it's like 5 hours. I mean, that would be the most intense thing ever. I mean, I would start forming like, here we go. Okay, if I'm going to be dating again, here, I want you to take a blood test. I want you to take a psych test. I want to see your resume. I want to verify. Can I have 7 references of people that know you? Can I talk to your employer? I mean, just like, I would not want to be dating again like that, man, because that would be like, because Dahmer's picking this guy up. Hey, I'll give you $100 to come and take pictures with me. Do photos.
God. Yeah, 5 hours with his ass, man. Like
5 hours. And the guy lives.
Yeah, he lives. Yeah, so it says, then Dahmer brandished a knife and informed Edwards he intended to take nude pictures of him. In an attempt to appease Dahmer, Edwards unbuttoned his shirt, saying he would allow him to do so if he would remove the handcuffs and put the knife away. In response to this promise, Dahmer simply turned his attention towards the TV. Edwards observed Dahmer rocking back and forth and chanting before turning his attention back to him. He placed his head on Edwards' chest, listened to his heartbeat, and, with the knife pressed against his intended victim, informed Edwards he intended to eat his heart. God, no.
It's so romantic.
Yeah,
Wait a minute, I was wrong. He's a romantic necrophiliac.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, wait, we gotta look up cannibal wise. It's like, what the heck are you?
Yeah. And it says, in continuous attempts to prevent Dahmer from attacking him, Edwards repeated that he was Dahmer's friend and that he was not going to run away. Edwards had decided he was going to either jump from a window or run through the unlocked front door upon the next available opportunity. When Edwards next stated he needed to use the bathroom, he asked if they could sit with a beer in the living room, where there was air conditioning. Dahmer consented, and the pair walked to the living room when Edwards exited the bathroom. Inside the living room, Edwards waited until he observed Dahmer have a momentary lapse of concentration before requesting to use the bathroom again. When Edwards rose from the couch, he noted Dahmer was not holding the handcuffs, whereupon Edwards punched him in the face, knocking Dahmer off balance, and ran out of the front door. At 11:30 p.m., Edwards flagged down two Milwaukee police officers, Robert Roth and Rolf Mueller, at the corner of North 25th Street. The officers noted Edwards had a handcuff attached to his wrist, whereupon he explained to the officers that a freak had placed the handcuffs upon him and asked if the police could remove them. When the officers' handcuff keys failed to fit the brand of handcuffs, Edwards agreed to accompany the officers to the apartment where, Edwards stated, he had spent the previous 5 hours before escaping. When the officers and Edwards arrived at apartment 213, Dahmer invited the trio inside and acknowledged he had placed the handcuffs upon Edwards, although he offered no explanation as to why he had done so. At this point, Edwards divulged to the officers that Dahmer had also brandished a large knife upon him, and that this had happened in the bedroom. Dahmer made no comment to this revelation, indicating to one of the officers, Mueller, that the key to the handcuffs was in the bedside dresser. As Mueller entered the bedroom, Dahmer attempted to pass Mueller to retrieve the key himself, whereupon the second officer present, Roth, informed him to back off. Oh man. In the bedroom, Mueller noted there was a large knife beneath the bed. He saw an open drawer which, upon closer inspection, contained scores of Polaroid pictures. And we've had this discussion on the stream before. When you see Polaroids, get the fuck out. Now, you know nothing good is going to be on them Polaroids.
Yeah.
And this was the case, because many of these Polaroids were of human bodies in various stages of dismemberment. Mueller noted the decor indicated they had been taken in the same apartment in which they were standing. Mueller walked into the living room to show them to his partner, uttering the words, "These are for real." When Dahmer saw that Mueller was holding several of his Polaroids, he fought with the officers in an effort to resist arrest. The officers quickly overpowered him, cuffed his hands behind his back, and called a second squad car for backup. At this point, Mueller opened the refrigerator to reveal the freshly severed head of a black male on the bottom shelf. As Dahmer lay pinned on the floor beneath Roth, he turned his head towards the officers and muttered the words, "For what I did, I should be dead." So then a more detailed search of the apartment was conducted by the Milwaukee Police's Criminal Investigation Bureau, revealed a total of 4 severed heads in Dahmer's kitchen. A total of 7 skulls, some painted, some bleached, were found in Dahmer's bedroom and inside a closet. Investigators discovered collected blood drippings upon a tray at the bottom of Dahmer's refrigerator, plus 2 human hearts, and a portion of arm muscle, each wrapped inside plastic bags upon the shelves. In Dahmer's freezer, investigators discovered an entire torso, plus a bag of human organs and flesh stuck to the ice at the bottom. Jeez, man. Elsewhere in apartment 213, investigators discovered 2 entire skeletons, a pair of severed hands, 2 severed and preserved penises, a mummified scalp, and in the 57-gallon drum, 3 further dismembered torsos dissolving in the acid solution. A total of 74 Polaroid pictures detailing the dismemberment of Dahmer's victims were found. In reference to the recovery of body parts and artifacts of 924 North 25th Street, the chief medical examiner later stated it was more like dismantling someone's museum than an actual crime scene.
Yeah, well, but what's weird about it is it's like you imagine Dahmer's like Walmart grocery store that he goes to. I mean, this is what the type of stuff that he would want in his grocery store. I mean,
no
because
shit.
he wasn't just keeping them; he was eating parts of their body. Reading more about this, it's like he would have had. He killed 17 in total. I mean, he would have had more skulls, but he didn't know how to preserve them right, and they would crack and they would break, and he would shatter them up, and he was 6. He told the police he was 6 months away from building an altar with the torsos and the skulls, and it's just like, I'm like, Steven, what did you get me into, man? I was happy with my mythological killers that are invincible, Jason zombies and stuff. Like, man, why can't I have my fantasies that, I'm not going to look at my neighbors the same. I'm going to like, hey, dude, I can't talk to you. You gotta do a psychological test before I even like have a communication with you anymore.
Yeah, this shit, man. Everybody's thinking of me way different now, but
yeah, I thought of something that Dragon Blues tell me. It's like, yeah, some people online are serial killers. It's like, what? I'm like, I can't even talk to these people.
Yeah, dude. You had to pack a lunch for this one, man. This is this is the Dahmer podcast, dude. It's like this, I mean,
the dude's carving up biceps, other parts of the bodies, the liver, and storing them for consumption later. He would get rid of other parts with the acid, but that's why the bucket was. He would keep other parts for eating. He would keep other parts for display and for painting. It's like, man, wow. This guy's more bored than I am. I mean, I feel like I get bored sometimes. I don't know if I'm that bored.
Yeah, man.
Or that hungry.
Oh, dude, there's a clip out there. You can find it on YouTube, and it's Lionel Dahmer talking to Jeffrey, and it's like, he's worried about Jeffrey eating and all this, and
I mean, wait. So could you imagine like being a parent, like trying to pack Jeffrey Dahmer's lunch pail? I really don't want him to get, while he goes to school. Here, I'll just put some liver in there for him, or hey, a severed penis.
Yeah, no shit. It's like. Yeah, I mean, so it's so weird to hear, Dahmer like, dude, I ate at McDonald's, man. I
was going to say, did Taco Bell not exist during this time? I'm pretty sure there was Taco Bell.
And it's like, the dude has body parts in his freezer right now that he's eating. Yeah. So it's super, super weird, man. And I'm with Leanne Risher. She's like, I should have had supper before this stream. Well, I mean, yeah, when should you? I mean, it's like, if you have food in your stomach, it might make you barf. But at the same time, after hearing an hour about a dude who dismembers people and then eats them after unsuccessfully trying to turn them into sex zombies, it's like, do you want it?
Well, what I watched one YouTube video about it today, and supposedly one lady was given a sandwich by him, which she's totally convinced that had human meat in it. It's just like, oh my god.
Oh no.
Hey, I'm gonna go hang out at Jeff's house tonight. He's cooking some steaks and stuff. I heard it's really good. I was like,
oh my god, dude! Could you imagine how pissed you would be? Like, man, that motherfucker invited me over for dinner.
Yeah, this is why I ate hours ago, because I'm like, this is just like not happening, man. I'm like, it's like cooking with Jeffrey Dahmer. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about the type of meat I like.
Oh my God, dude.
Dude, you got some problems.
Yeah. Well, it's like what Albert Fish said. If you hear him, he was another cannibal. He said, for those of you that are curious, and I'm probably about to, ruin your night there, Leanne.
Can you at least do like the bang, or like, whatever those cooking bang, you gotta put some seasoning in there,
Well, Albert Fish said that the tastiest part of a human is the ass.
It's funny. I never read that he kept the ass.
Yeah.
Leanne says today's topic: unintentional cannibalism.
Yeah, that should be the quote of the stream. I never read that he kept the ass.
Yeah, I never read. Dude, I'm gonna wake up in the morning and give their kids their lunch at school. Hey kids, you never know. Today might be the day. Unintentional cannibalism.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, Jonas. Cannibal serial killer Albert Fish, who, oh my God, he's crazy to read up on. He said the tastiest part of a human being is the ass. So
didn't they eat the ass in that one movie where they crashed the plane and Orlando Bloom was eating ass or something like that?
I don't know.
It's like a soccer team or something.
Oh shit! I haven't seen that. I've heard about it.
I don't watch any movies. Yeah, I mean, you guys can tell. I'm a lightweight to horror. I don't do anything if it's real. I mean, that's like we talk Michael Myers, Jason, all those guys. Michael's shot 7 or 8 times. That dude is not real. It's not happening. Oh wait, Dragon Blues is saying Ethan Hawke. It was Ethan Hawke that was eating ass. I thought it was Orlando Blooming Onion.
Oh my God, Orlando Blooming Onion.
Yeah. It was an old Robot Chicken thing where Orlando Bloom. Yeah, I thought it was that scene where his head is made out of onions, so they were all eating him. It was gross.
Yeah, there you go. Though, if it's Elvira's ass, you get a pass.
This person might actually. I'm half suspicious that they might know. Eat her ass.
Oh my God! Yeah, man, what a night! What a night, man! What a night! What a discussion! Yeah. So for those of you who are wondering, so we'll just go ahead and we'll get into the death of good old Jeffrey Dahmer here. So
the death is interesting. The trial's really interesting too, but we kind of talked about that already too.
Yeah. Well, the trial. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely gets more refined in his killing. I mean, it basically gets into going to a gay bar, offering to take pictures, blah blah blah, and then it kind of just keeps repeating itself. There was the one, I don't know if anybody else caught on to this, is that there's one of his victims that he wasn't convicted of killing, and it's because he doesn't remember it. And I think it was his second victim where he wakes up and had beaten on their chest and I don't know, he disposes of the body, but when he had woken up, the person was dead, and they couldn't convict him of it because of the some of the laws that they had during that time for that and convicting him, and so that was an interesting death. I'll look that up for you guys while you read through his death, and I'll pull it back up for you guys. Yeah. But it was one of his murders that he said, I did this, and they're like, we can't convict you of it.
Damn. Okay. Yeah.
Wait, it was Steve Toomey at the Ambassador Hotel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he gets a guy to go to a room that he had rented that evening, and he said he had no intention of killing him, but he rather intended to simply drug him and lie beside him and explore his body. So yeah, it's just crazy stuff. It's just like, what? So Gabriel, he was convicted in multiple states. He actually had 2 trials. He had the one in Milwaukee, and he also had the one in Ohio for his first murder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, so... And I do know this, and I would love to get people's, thoughts on this here, more of our religious people here. So, shortly after completing his lengthy confessions in 1991, Dahmer had requested to Detective Murphy that he be given a copy of the Bible. This request was granted, and Dahmer gradually devoted himself to Christianity and became a born-again Christian. On his father's urging, he also read creationist books from the Institute for Creation Research. In May 1994, Dahmer was baptized by Roy Ratcliffe, a minister in the Church of Christ and a graduate of Oklahoma Christian University in the prison whirlpool. Following his baptism, Ratcliffe visited Dahmer on a weekly basis up until November 1994. Dahmer and Ratcliffe regularly discussed the prospect of death, and Dahmer questioned whether he was sinning against God by continuing to live. Referring to his crimes in a 1994 interview with Stone Phillips on Dateline NBC, Dahmer had stated, quote, "If a person doesn't think that there is a God to be accountable to, then what's the point of trying to modify your behavior to keep it within acceptable ranges? That's how I thought anyway," end quote. So
that's like that's probably a 2-hour discussion right there for society in general. Is
yeah,
if you if you don't believe in God, then what behavior that you do can ultimately be judged. It's like, where is there any judge? It's like, then you put that in the government's hands, your parents' hands, your neighbors, society. It's like, wow. I mean, that's terrifying. I agree with you, Grass Man. It's time for another drink, man. It's happening. It's happening after the stream, man. After this, I'm gonna be playing some Fortnite and zoning out for an hour.
Unless another $10 comes through, of course.
We should do for one stream is we'll do the Jonas $10 Jameson shots, and we'll just line them up in front of the camera.
Oh my God! And just people can pay to watch them disappear.
Yeah, we'll hire a security guard to like lock me up, or a police officer to arrest me.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, so Gabriel says here, Dahmer's relationship with God is not my concern, but many prisoners do this. Maybe because it's easy to get a Bible and they're bored. Doesn't change a thing. Most atheists aren't killers. Jonah says he's down for that, so we gotta make that happen. But yeah, so what does the stream think? Was Dahmer sorry for what he had done, or was it all just a show? What's going on there with the baptism and becoming a born-again Christian? But here we go. On July 3rd, 1994, fellow inmate Osvaldo Dorothy attempted to slash Dahmer's throat with a razor embedded in a toothbrush as Dahmer sat in the prison chapel after the weekly church service was concluded. Dahmer received superficial wounds and was not seriously hurt in this incident. According to Dahmer's family, he had long been ready to die and accepted any punishment which he might endure in prison. In addition to his father and stepmother maintaining regular contact, Dahmer's mother, Joyce, also maintained regular contact with her son. Prior to his arrest, the two had not seen each other since Christmas 1983. Jeez. Joyce related that in her weekly phone calls, whenever she expressed concerns for her son's physical well-being, Dahmer responded with comments to the effect of, "It doesn't matter, Mom. I don't care if something happens to me."
Yeah, he was kind of resolute when he was arrested, though, too, is like, I deserve to die. But here's the thing, though. It's like, Gabriel had a good question. It's like there's a lot of atheists that don't go around killing everybody. That's an excellent point. Mm-hmm. the question that I have in you stating that is, I look at this and I go to myself and think to so if this is true, Dahmer's in prison.
Mm-hmm.
He's exposed to Christ for the first time. Say his parents yelling, screaming all the time, more focus on himself, whatever reason you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Had he been exposed to any religion at the time to give him structure, to give him like consequences. Hey, here are some rules. If you break these rules, you're going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to think that it would have prevented him from killing people, and I don't know. But it's like, is this something to expose people to say, hey, look, here's a possibility and exposure to, it's like religion or a community, some sort of structure that he wasn't exposed to. Would that have prevented him from killing people? I don't know. I mean, I read that and I wonder. It's like, okay, so the question I would have wanted to ask Dahmer at this point is, if you were a teenager before you killed somebody, if somebody had exposed you to, you're claiming Jesus, would you have not killed somebody at this point? Would you have stopped your impulses? And in fact, what I have to do as a parent is I have to talk to my kids to tell them, if you even have one thought of wanting to hurt someone else, hurt yourself, do anything like that that's physically, or even have the depressive thoughts, speak it, talk it out, bring it up. Don't hide it in. It's something that you're not supposed to endure alone. I mean, I feel like that's a new thing. I feel like during this time, it was just like, I'm too busy. Like, there's a part in the show, I'm sorry, son, I would hang out with you, but I gotta go off and do this stuff. I don't know. This is a now problem, man.
Yeah. Well, Gabriel, like a total badass, came through with the $4.99 donation. What do you think of them apples, Necro? He says, appreciate your guys' time and how easy and welcoming these chats are.
So should I go run off now? I think we're getting close to running, but I could go run off.
I know. We need another $5, dude. You need another $5 for that drink to come out, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take that's more change in the old cuparooski there.
Yeah.
So
no, that was awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Gabriel. You're a freaking beast, man. So Dragon Blue says, I absolutely believe that there's an inherent part of most humans that knows on a deep level what is truly wrong, like murder. I think it's naturally abhorrent to most humans. So he's full of shit. Leanne Risher says, Dahmer wasn't sorry. He was just recycling flesh and seeing how the parts fit together and stuff. He thought they were going to die anyways, so why not? He only hid it for self-preservation. And Dragon Blue says, I think finding God for him is ridiculous. And she doesn't think so, in regards to your question, that morality, religious or otherwise, is so deeply ingrained in our culture that it's hard to escape. It's in films, TV, schools, etc. And yes, thank you to the horror fam, Steve Buscemi Eyes. JK does say, though, I think he was sorry insofar as he could understand that he should be sorry for what he did, but I don't think he was sorry the way you and I would be.
See, and that's what's confusing for me, is because I've never delved into this part of it. So I think, based off of how we do on these streams, you'll get to see me more exposed to this sort of stuff, is trying to figure out, do these people who kill 17 people, I mean, I looked at one guy today, killed 200. Do they look at themselves as separate from these people? Like they're subhuman, or they're so insignificant, like that life itself is not significant at all. I mean, it's like what drives a person to disassociate from the fact that, a serial killer comes up to me, tries to kill me. It's like, I would try and kill them. I would want to live. I would not want to die. And it's like, would they understand if I, like, would they understand me killing them? You know, would they comprehend the fact that they were trying, like a lot of Dahmer stuff? I look at him and I look at a guy who didn't want a real relationship with anybody. He wanted control. He didn't want a human relationship with anybody. He just wanted to dominate and not even dominate, because he's not looking for a response. I look at like dominance of like you're wanting an expressive return on that dominance. He wanted a blank slate of fleshy nothing. And it's like, you have no empathy. These people have no concept of like, well, what if you were treated like that? You know, would you, what's the difference? Do you think of yourself as so different that and I don't know that they do. I don't know. It's interesting, but I think it's so sick that it's like, I don't think I could ever logically take a stance and go, oh yeah, well, I totally get this.
Well, you know, Dragon Blue says here, that's almost subscribing them too much logic, I think, Necro. I don't think they feel the need for that type of justification.
Yeah.
And, you know, that, yeah, man, it's, you know, it would be interesting to see, you know, what they think. I know in warfare a lot, you know, like with Nazi Germany and stuff like that, you know, they were pretty much under the idea of like Jews aren't real people. They're less than you. They're less than dogs. You know, when the Japanese messed up Nanking and all that, I mean, that was their thoughts. You know, so they did some horrible stuff to them, and that might, you know.
I read a book called The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. Is they basically brainwashed their people into thinking Jewish people, well, basically anybody who wasn't Aryan was subhuman. So their lives were expendable. It's just crazy stuff. You know, it's just like, it's a crazy making to me.
Yeah, so it's like how did they justify it in their own minds? Yeah. Or did they? You know, who knows, man? You know, Leanne Risher here says, I think this conversation is massively interesting. I am really fascinated by the woman in the box case. Oh my goodness.
I want to know about that. Because she mentions women in the box case. Some of and somebody had mentioned about the victims being, and other people being very gullible and everything else. I'm like, thank God, man, that more women aren't serial killers. You know, I was a gullible, you know, high school kid and college guy, man. I probably would have done anything a girl wanted me. What, you want me to go back and take nude photos? Sure, no problem. Oh, yeah. You don't need to pay me. I mean, Dahmer's at least paying guys to do it. I'd be like, I do it for free.
You said you dropped the condoms in this trash compactor? Let me try to get them.
You're on. Yeah, because guys are pretty dumb.
Jonah says maybe he knew it was the end of the line for him and Christianity was his last form of salvation or his last chance of redemption, as do many long-term inmates. Yeah. Gabriel says it seems from his interviews he looked back at many points where he could have / should have gone a different way, but you never hear him talk about the humans he destroyed. And that would, you know, he'd be remorseful about it. So
that was my point. See, I think that, you know, just from reading this case study is, I don't think they look at other people with similar consciousness in the fact that they have, you know, experiences and, you know, outside of their own. They're only experiencing what they experience. They can't put themselves into somebody else's, you know, shoes. Like, if I stab somebody, how does that knife feel going into that person or strangling them? It's just like gross.
Well, you know, and Dahmer admitted that, you know, if he was ever released, he would just go right back to it. He would just kill more people. I mean,
that's awful.
It's just, you know, I mean, imagine accepting that. Like, you've come to just understand that you're a murderer. That's what you are.
Well, it was like talking to you in Dragon Blues today, and she noted that I didn't refer to Jeffrey Dahmer as a. It's like.
Oh, as a human?
Yeah, as a human. I don't know that he was a human being. I mean, it's like. It's like, you're. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm actually going to ask that in the chat. I would love to know what, how other people perceive him. So, let's see. But we're going to get into his death here. We just revealed that he was attacked in the chapel, but here we go. This is the real situation here. This is the death of Jeffrey Dahmer. So, on the morning of November 28th, 1994, Dahmer left his cell to conduct his assigned work detail. Accompanying him were two fellow inmates, Jesse Anderson and Christopher Scarver. The trio were left unsupervised in the showers of the prison gym for approximately 20 minutes. At approximately 8:10 a.m., Dahmer was discovered on the floor of the bathrooms of the gym suffering from extreme head wounds. He had been severely bludgeoned about the head and face with a 20-inch metal bar. His head had also been repeatedly struck against the wall in the assault. Although Dahmer was still alive and was rushed to a nearby hospital, he was pronounced dead 1 hour later. Anderson had been beaten with the same instrument and died 2 days later from his wounds. Scarver, who was serving a life sentence for a murder committed in 1990, informed authorities he had first attacked Dahmer with the metal bar as Dahmer was cleaning a staff locker room, before attacking Anderson as Anderson cleaned an inmate locker room. According to Scarver, Dahmer did not yell or make any noise as he was attacked. Immediately after attacking both men, Scarver, who was thought to be schizophrenic, returned to his cell and informed a prison guard, "God told me to do it. Jesse Anderson and Jeffrey Dahmer are dead." Scarver was adamant he had not planned the attacks in advance, although he later divulged to investigators he had concealed the 20-inch iron bar used to kill both men in his clothing shortly before the killings. Upon learning of his death, Dahmer's mother, Joyce, responded angrily to the media. "Now is everybody happy? Now that he's bludgeoned to death, is that good enough for everyone?" The response of the families of Dahmer's victims was mixed, although it appears most were pleased with his death. The district attorney who prosecuted Dahmer cautioned against turning Scarver into a folk hero, noting that Dahmer's death was still murder. On May 15, 1995, Scarver was sentenced to 2 additional terms of life imprisonment for the murders of Dahmer and Anderson. Dahmer had stated in his will that he wished for no services to be conducted and that he wished to be cremated. In September of 95, Dahmer's body was cremated and his ashes divided between his parents. So,
crazy, man.
Yeah, so if I remember right, Scarver was in prison for killing his wife. If I'm remembering that correctly, I haven't read about him in a while. And Jesse Anderson, I cannot remember what he was in prison for, but...
Yeah, I saw JK's post about, I have to acknowledge that he was as no other life form, to my knowledge, is capable of doing this. He was a moral, evil human being. Yeah, I mean, it's sad. It's like you don't see animals. I mean, you see animals being cannibals. I mean, that happens. Mm-hmm. But, sadistically, killing people, doing weird sex stuff with them, and oh my God, man.
Okay, so, so Anderson, it looks like, killed his wife. And let's see.
Is that going to be the next poll question? So how many of you have thought about killing him?
Yeah.
Are you in favor of what Anderson did? I mean, is there a time? It's like, or the opposite way. How many wives want to kill their husbands because they're trash?
Damn. Okay, so yeah, so Scarver did not kill his wife like I thought. God. Yeah, so
Wow.
I don't think, not that I can see. But yeah, he did kill Jeffrey Dahmer and Jesse
Wow.
Anderson, so crazy stuff, man. So that's what happened to Dahmer, and man, just
And so,
yeah,
so I still have to watch the next 7 episodes.
yeah, hell yeah, man. You know, you got to make it to that
What's that?
point and see.
Ugh.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Dragon Blues brings up a good point. You know, oh, he wanted to be cremated. That's because he knows what someone can do to a dead body. Oh my
Oh
God.
that was awesome.
Yeah. Shit, man. Yeah. Yeah, I see that Gabriel says there's an interview with Scarver's son. He speculates the prison guard set up the murder, but that happens in prison. Yeah, I've heard that rumor a lot. You know.
What that it was
a
actually the
setup,
prison guards
yeah.
that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Who knows, man? Who knows? Crazy ass story though, you know, the same way, you know, he killed Stephen Hicks is the same way he ended up dying. You know, his first victim. You know, beat him with a metal bar and
Yep.
yeah, so crazy, man. Crazy stuff. We have talked about Dahmer for nearly 2 hours, and I mean, if we had, you know, if we were to discuss Dahmer in further detail, we totally could. I mean, for God's sakes, he killed 17 people, and there's so much more going on there, and you know, all the stuff that went on with him in prison. I mean, this could, you know, could be a damn 8-hour special.
I need a lot more drink. And
Need a lot more drink. Yeah. Yeah, man. So I guess we're going to wind it down right now. We have covered what we want to talk about. So if there's any questions or comments or anything like that, we'd love to hear them. But I will say, we're 50 subscribers away from hitting 53,000
Wow.
on TalkHorror.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so my friends, rally your troops. Tell everyone about the big TH. Feel free to share us on social media. Wherever, man. I mean, I want you to hit the streets. Tell your friends, tell your family. TalkHorror is where it's at, baby. Get them in the horror fam. I want to see 53,000. That's what we need, man. We need a TalkHorror street team.
Did you say streak team?
Yeah.
You go streaking?
Yeah. Yeah, so let's see here.
Thanks, Jonas.
Damn, Jonas says he was glued to his phone the whole time. Grassman throwing beers around. Goodness gracious, that has been something that's happened the whole stream. He is stuck around this whole time. Usually Grassman is a man of few words. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Leanne says she's going to share us on Facebook. Hell yeah!
Yeah, do it, man.
Yeah, heck
like
yeah. I need that love. Yeah, dude, so I owe you a good stream after this, man. Something that you can be proud of. Something that won't cause you to drink.
Yeah.
Or question our friendship.
We talked one time about Hocus Pocus, too.
Oh, my God, yeah. Now look at where we are.
Can we cover Halloween Town and the fun movies?
Are you going to go get baptized after this?
Dude, I'm going to baptize myself with some drink.
Yeah! Hell yeah! Let me see, man. Doesn't Hocus Pocus 2 come out, like, tomorrow?
Does it? I have no idea.
No,
the kids will tell me.
It comes
the
out.
Kids will be like,
yeah, fuck yeah. It comes out on the 30th, man.
Dragon Blues is like, I do. He's gonna make you do a stream about Rick and Morty. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, Rick. JK wants to know, is it a condition of humanity that we want to disbelieve the evil that exists?
Ooh. Maybe the next stream we talk about.
I don't know, man. It's, that's a good question. It's like, there's people that are like, want to believe that the world as a whole is evil and that humans are a scourge on the earth and that, the earth should be cleansed of us and that we're not worthy of life and all this. Like, there's people, like, I believe that, the media wants you to believe that. And you go on Facebook or Twitter or any of that, and you're always going to see people post those memes that's like, I hate people. Or something that.
I mean, I look at it as more as like, do people believe in conscious evil acts of where a human being chooses to do evil, or that somebody is actually evil? It's one of those things where like people trying to figure out certain things, like this guy or a school shooting or something, and trying to like make excuses. Well, his mom did this, or his dad did this, or the cops did this, or like his teachers did this, or he was raped, or he was abused, or he was, and trying to find some clue into why this happened. And yet people even in the chat were saying, hey, there's all these instances of these things happening, or anesthesia, these things happening to other people. And yet they don't murder and eat people and have sex with their bodies. And it's like, some people might just be evil. Yeah. It might have just been true evil. I mean, because if you can accept that somebody is a good person, that somebody could consciously make a decision, I am an evil person, and that's how they're wired. It's I don't know. It's a good debate.
Yeah, it's a great debate. It's it's like I said. I mean, you'll see stuff like that, like en masse on social media, and then when it's the person that's living down the hallway, they don't want to believe it. It's like I don't know. It's weird. It's super weird.
Yeah.
So Dragon Blue says, I don't think so, JK, but I think there are some things that are so aberrant that we just can't understand how they're possible.
Yeah.
Gabriel says he puts a lot of stock in attachment theory. Beth Thomas, she's known as a child psychopath. She hurt animals, her brother, but she got therapy and she healed from it. It came from trauma. Leanne Richer says some people are really, truly evil. I know one. No remorse, no caring, a complete selfishness. It's hard to believe it till you meet one.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's crazy.
And Grassman's throwing out warnings. He's like I said, watch out for the quiet ones. Yeah. Yeah, great topic, man. Great topic. Truly crazy to look at, and it's a fun one to do. It's fun to do these sometimes. Well, for me, probably not for you, but
yeah. We'll just see. Like, we'll see what the next TV series comes out. Like, if they do Bundy or Gacy, or I think the Shipman one would be like over 200 people that he killed. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, their stories are so fucking wild. It's like, could you believe? Like imagine if you died at the hands of Dahmer, and then like there is an afterlife, and you go to it, and you're just looking to, and like you have to tell people like, man, this motherfucker killed me because he thought he could make me a sex zombie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Gacy, oh, Jonas, I'm with you, bro. Gacy would be a fucking horrible one, because like, he's going to try to manhandle you. If he gets the better of you, like, you're going to wake up and this fat motherfucker's rolling around as a clown, and then he's going to sexually assault you. Like, man.
It's like you could form like a new channel, just like Necro reacts to things he's never seen before.
Yeah, like Necro, man, you know.
That's what you get for picking that name, loser.
Yeah, he is so triggered by this shit. He's going to go play Fortnite after this.
I'm going to go watch some Hallmark movies.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, man, Jonas, he's calling you out, Necro. He's like, we're going to get that drink in January.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's understood.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, Jonas, oh man, Gacy also liked the handcuffs. He's trying to trick motherfucker. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'd be so pissed. Like, y'all won't believe this shit, but a clown killed me. What's up, Billy Judd? Welcome to the stream, man. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna have to do something, man. Some kind of happy-go-lucky stream for you. For sure. Yes, Jonas, the Glenn Ferris certainly does, my friend. Damn, okay, so I'm going to end our poll here on whether people perceive Jeffrey Dahmer as a human being. This is a 1-minute warning, everybody. Vote on that poll and let's see what you have to say. And like I said, man, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, baby, and share us with your friends. We're trying to get to 53,000, 49 away. Yeah, man. Have you seen The Watcher on Netflix? Gabriel wants to know.
No, I haven't seen it.
Me neither, brother.
You know what's bad is, Leanne, I actually know what The Good Witch is. Yeah, we'll be watching that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man, I feel like after Dragon Blues being in here all night, I'm going to have to watch something happy with her before bedtime, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy Judd, the 3 murderers guest starred in South Park. Yeah, the 3 stooges of Dahmer, Gacy, and Bundy.
Oh
my God.
That's right. I remember that.
That's a badass
That's
one.
probably my only exposure to them.
Yeah, they had to go get Satan's Ferrari cake.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, Gabriel says says it'll be out soon. The trailer's out. Also based on a true story of a house that was getting letters that someone was watching the house. Never solved. Oh, my God.
Crazy.
Oh, dude. Oh, man. They'd be in so much shit. Like, if I knew somebody, I'd walk around naked all day and play bongos like Matthew McConaughey with the windows open. It'd be in some shit. You don't want to watch my house. You don't want to play those kind of games. Jonas donated $10. Oh my God!
Right now?
Right now!
What?
Yeah, there he goes. Look at him, man, running away. Oh my God! Look at that! Look at that! Going to go get the drink because of Jonas coming through, baby. What a freaking legend, taking the stream, boss. Showing those big Chads. What? And Briggs is in here. Oh my God, he threw me off. Oh my God. The diabolical doctor. Doc, we had a goal. Every $10, Necro goes and gets a drink. Oh man, yeah, Necro's gonna regret the shit out of this. Oh my God, Grassman, I'm so jealous of you right now, man. I wish I had some damn tacos. I am so hungry. We should all, while Necro's away, we should all come up with a plan that he has to chug this drink so we can get out of here early. And we can eat. He has to take it to the dome. Yeah, Briggs, are you just now getting in, man? You missed the whole stream. We've been talking about some good stuff, man. Yes, Dragon. Necro must do it. He must become a legend. Yeah, poor Necro. Or we should get that other $5 and trick him, because then he has to have another drink. Because we are technically at 15 on the last 2 donations, so another $5 comes through, he has to get a double. Briggs, I'll tell you what, man. This is the type of guy that will choose Friends over the horror fam. I can't believe it. Cannot believe it, Briggs. So disappointed right now, dude. It's almost like you have a social life or something. I mean, what? And on a day where the new Halloween trailer drops? Oh my god. Well, James, while you were gone, dude, oh, he couldn't even hear me. Look at that.
Cheers, Jonas.
Oh, dude, you're almost in so much trouble. I was trying to get somebody else to donate another $5 since we're at 15, and then you'd have to make it a double. But yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, I had put everything away. I was like, oh.
Yeah, well, Jonas was going to have mercy. He's like, Necro, you don't have to do anything, man. I know we're wrapping up.
Oh, no, man. I was going to have one anyways. So.
Yeah, that's not how we roll around here, Jonas. We have to abuse our podcast guests, damn it.
Yep.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. And Briggs made it in?
Nice.
Yeah, coming in at the tail end of everything. It's like, you missed all the good stuff, dude.
He makes it in. I like, be sick last week and crap like that. I have an alarm set for Thursday, man. I'm excited for your guys. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, we actually had to cancel it this week.
Oh no!
Yeah, we canceled.
I'm still leaving the alarm though.
Oh man. Yeah, hell yeah, I don't blame you. We should be back next. Well, no, we won't. Next week is we're filming for the show, so.
Oh. Nice.
Yeah. But I'm going to end the poll on whether or not do you perceive Dahmer as a human being, and let's see what the final results are. We have 68% say no, Jeffrey Dahmer is not a human being.
Oh.
They perceive him as something else. Jeez, man. No love for the Dom.
Nope. But I'm telling you though, from watching this Netflix series, and I know they have the Bundy tapes or other things, they're going to do there'll be another 10 episode season on a different series.
Oh, I guarantee it, man. It's been the #1 trending television show on Netflix for like 3-4 days or something, dude. Absolutely. Yeah. There'll be one on Dahmer, Gacy, all of them. I guarantee you that shit's in pre-production right now.
Yeah.
Somebody, who knows? I do know that on the 7th or the 8th, the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes comes out, which is a documentary. So, going to be more Dahmer goodies out there for you fans. But, all right, man, let's wrap it up. I'm starving, and then I have to go edit all night long. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a long one for me, so yeah, man. Thanks to all of y'all for coming in. Really appreciate it. Love spending the night with y'all. It's been great. We've been on here for 2 hours and 3 minutes. Whew, hell of a topic. We will have to, me and Anna will be coming up soon with a stream on our Halloween 31 Days of Horror picks. So that way all of y'all can compile your lists and we can compile our own. So we'll be taking suggestions from the audience on what should be on our list. But all right. Until then, my friends, look horror.
Listen horror.
Talk horror. Yeah.